shh, don't share any of this, because this week we're going to talk about data sharing best practices, how to build an effective data strategy, and ladies in data and AI that you must follow. Welcome to the top 5 data AI and analytics posts of the week. This is the 77th edition of the Data-Driven Carcast, the weekend update where I review, highlight, and recap for you what is hot and what is not in the world of data. And if you like this, make sure to smash the like button and continue to engage by commenting and sharing on this content. Also, as always, if you click on the link down below, you'll find a link to my blog where a set of slides is waiting for you. You can download them for free and have all the references and links I'm going to talk to you about today. Let's get started. But before we go there to this data sharing best practices, I want to point you to the survey of the week. This is a survey from the good friends at McKinsey Analytics, and their question is quite simple. What do you think is the most critical capability that is going to allow you to scale your data project? You have 3 options: your team's talent, the alignment of priorities between business and IT leaders, or your ability to master change management. With almost 700 answers so far, the answer is, well, you're going to have to go to the blog to check out the answer because the results are actually quite close. But the good news is you got 3 days before the survey closes, so you watch it, and you can also vote to see how you can affect the outcome. Now, we're talking about data sharing early, and this is a topic we've talked about before in this CarCast or in this podcast if you're listening to this in Spotify. Data sharing is a top of mind issue for CIOs and technology leaders. And according to IDC in 2021, 50% of companies will actively seek to externalize, monetize, and deliver data and analytics as a service. But 5% or less of data sharing programs have actually correctly identified trusted data and located trusted data sources so far. And that's according to Gartner. So in short, data sharing is a hot topic. Everybody wants to do it. Many have tried it, but few, very few have been able to succeed. And so luckily, there's this great report by McKinsey and Company that was published this week. It's a great paper that suggests what are the key considerations of your data sharing program. It suggests you print that and use it as a blueprint. I think it's very well researched, very well written. And I'm going to break it down for you a little bit here to make sure it's easier for you to share it and encourage people to read this great article. Now, of course, you can imagine the use cases for data sharing, are numerous. You can imagine customer analytics. This is the idea where you're using external data such as firmographic data or technographic data that can help complete your understanding of your customer information. You can imagine operational and forecasting scenarios where you're using benchmarking data to put in context your understanding of your own performance. There's literally hundreds of use cases available to you. If you don't believe me, just check out my feed, my LinkedIn feed. Every Thursday, I share my favorite data set of the week. You'll also be amazed to see how companies are using geospatial data, weather information, industry-specific data to complete their own and better the understanding of their employees and the better understanding of reality. Because sometimes when you're just restricting your analysis to the data you have inside your walls, you'll realize it's a very small portion of the real world. So having lots of options is important when it comes to data programs, but volume is not the only factor. It's not the only consideration to take into account in order to succeed. And through their work with top performing companies and reviewing data sharing programs, McKinsey has been able to identify 12 factors to take into account. Now, I'm not going to review all of them here, but I want to point you to a few that I think really matter. So we talked about the depth and the breadth of the data, and that's kind of a given and an important one. But there's also a criteria around the match and fill rate. What do we mean by that? This is how much your additional data is actually going to be enough to justify the investment and effort of your data sharing program. Because one of the key considerations is your internal ability to actually ingest, procure, maintain this new data, as well as your ability to react to the risk involved in getting rid of this data if you need to. Other factors in the research from McKinsey include things like data delivery, timeliness, the uniqueness of the data, the cost of the data, cost structure, of course, the data, and the type of warranties you're going to get when it comes to the data delivery itself. So anyway, like I said, This article is very well written. It's obviously very well researched. 95% of companies are failing today in putting together data sharing programs. So I think this resource will surely help many of you. I want to thank Doug and Mohammed from McKinsey for doing this research and sharing this for free so we can all benefit from it. Now, talking about amazing people, amazing community members, I want to point you to 3 amazing ladies in the world of data, AI, and analytics, because you must go out and follow them on LinkedIn, on YouTube, wherever is your preferred social media platform. First one is Dale Markowitz. This is someone I've been following for a while now. She's an applied AI engineer, and she always has great resources and entertaining videos that she shares. This week, she gave us everything that we need in order to use AI to translate videos. And our content is always super entertaining and very useful. You'll see she also has like a sheet, a Google sheet to complete the quality of her AI catalog. Super entertaining, very short, and hopefully it'll get you excited using some of these capabilities that are available out there. Casey Kozarkov is a chief decision scientist, and her channel is hours upon hours of training. If you're trying to ramp up on AI data and analytics, this is a channel that you must follow. This past week, she asked, can AI be creative? So check out her videos and see what you think. And then finally, I think I've talked about her previously many times, Priyanka, also known as the Cloud Girl. She started a series this past week called the 31 Days of ML, where every day she shares a quick lesson on machine learning on her LinkedIn profile. It's really easy. Just if you're not connected to her, go ahead and follow her, and you'll get this quick little write-up here that hopefully you can take a 5-minute throughout your day and learn more about machine learning. So go out and follow these folks. Let them know how their content is helping you. Also, in closing, I want to thank my good friend Ryan Anderson, the founder and host of the Digital Native podcast, who had me on this show a few months ago, and the episode just published this past week. Check it out. Let us know what you think. I talked about, of course, data and analytics. I talked about the future of data. We talked about a practice I've used called the pre-mortem. See, I almost made the mistake of calling it the post-mortem, which is probably something you're familiar with, but here I talked about the pre-mortem and how it's worked for me. Many other topics. It was a ton of fun to do that segment with him, and I hope you'll enjoy it and have some fun. That's it for this week, and as usual, if you like this content, go ahead and like it, comment, share it throughout the week. If there's anything that you find is interesting that you should tag me and let me know that you want me to share that with the community. In the meantime, stay engaged, be data-driven, and I will see you next week.